AskReddit by Expiring Frog. What mind-blowing, but simple, facts would satisfy a 4-year-old daughter's daily request for one fact before bedtime? Dogs can tell when you're coming home by how much of your scent is left in the house if you have a daily routine. https://facebook.com/content/dogs-smell-passage-time right square bracket open bracket https://com content dogs smell passage time. Dogs have a sense of time beyond its relation to smells lingering. As anecdotal evidence, I feed my dogs at 8 in the evening every day. If I forget, right around 8:15 they will get up and start badgering me until they get fed. Also, I get up at 9 AM for work every day. I let them out at that time. On the weekends when I really want to be sleeping at 9 AM without fail they're up and grabbing chew toys and squeaking them in my ear until I get up. Persistent bastards. Most people have more than the average number of arms. At first I was like, oh, a troll comment, but then I realized some people have less than 2 arms, making the average less than 2 nice one. A day on Venus takes longer to complete than a year on Venus. How? It simply takes longer for Venus to do one complete rotation around its own axis than it does for the planet to rotate around the sun. Edit. From my memory I believe it's only like 10-15 days difference. But still an interesting fact. Another fun fact is aluminum used to be such a precious metal, and so expensive, that the top point of the Washington Monument is made of pure aluminum. At the time of construction, that aluminum would be about like capping it with platinum today. Otters have skin pockets for their favorite rocks. They are also surprisingly vicious. The name for the Arctic comes from the ancient Greek word for bear Arctus, named after one of the constellations Ursa Major, Big Bear, or Ursa Minor, Little Bear, but there are bears living there too. So basically, the Arctic is called Bear, and the Antarctic is called Not Bear. Edit. Slight fact correction. Thanks you Wolfie Rampant. Cashews come from a fruit. The fruit is edible but apparently hard to transport long distances, so the only places you're likely to find it are where cashews are grown. They also don't grow inside the fruit. They are on top of it, like a sort of ridiculous hat. Edit. Not on top, underneath. My bad. Either the fruit is the ridiculous hat or the nut is either a set of testicles or, as somebody below me said, a massive dump. Edit. Wow, gold. Thanks a heap. A Siamese cat's fur color is dependent on its body temperature. That's why the colder areas of the body such as the nose, paws, and tail are darker than the rest. Most elephants weigh less than a blue whale's tongue. I guess I'm for, because I'm loving all the fun facts in this thread. Some species of burrowing spiders keep teeny tiny frogs in their burrows to keep it free of bugs too small for the spider to get that might try to eat the spider's eggs. This means that tiny frogs are spider cats. Yes. I love it when my cat saves my human eggs from being eaten by tiny bugs. From the time Pluto was discovered until the time it was demoted from planethood, it still hadn't made one complete revolution around the sun. 73 years from 1933 to 2006 out of a 248-year orbit. In Switzerland, it's illegal to own just one guinea pig. If you have any, you have to have at least 2. They get lonely. Can confirm, I have 3 poop machines running around. Bees tell their friends about good nearby flowers by dancing. And if you feed them cocaine they will exaggerate the amount of flowers, and sometimes say they've found flowers when they actually haven't, just like humans. Probably not suitable for a 4-year, but it's cool to know we're not so different to bees. I once told my son that there was a scientist for everything. So we started a tradition where he'd pick something to see if there were people that studied it, and I'd give some age appropriate examples of what they do. Edit. Thank you for the silver. Might suggest the study of metals and alloys and when we use what kind. He's always talking about the different eras of human history, primitive age, modern age, future age etc. So it'd be a good segue to Iron Age, Bronze Age. Editing again to at, since it's been mentioned in so many replies. Apparently the podcast Ologies is like this, may not have the most family friendly vocabulary, but I don't know, I haven't listened to any of it. My daughter, 5, decided that when she grows up, she wants to rescue sea animals. We had a good discussion yesterday about some of the neat things she could see and do in that type of job. We talked about how there is a lot of trash in the ocean and how it affects the animals. We talked about oil spills and cleaning the sea creatures after. We talked about dolphins getting tangled in fishing nets. We even talked about how we haven't fully explored the oceans yet and there could be new creatures that no one has ever seen. It was a really cool conversation to have with her. A lot of the TV or internet videos she watches comes via undersea cables. That's because the undersea cables are faster than satellite. Also wait, what thought? There's an island in Japan populated only by fluffy bunnies. Been there. It's the most amazing place on earth, bunny owner. And there are ruins there from chemical weapons testing facilities. Edit, I just threw some of the photos into Imgur. http://imgur.com/gallery/6dclvho. The building in the world with the most toilets is Wembley Stadium. Cows get excited when they solve puzzles. The filling in a Kit Kat is broken up Kit Kats. One time a guy ate an aeroplane. It took him several years but he did it. The little jump guinea pigs do when they are happy is called popcorning. When a cat walks towards you with its tail up, that means it likes you and is excited to see you. Elephants have a noise that means there are bees here, let's leave immediately. They played golf on the moon one time. I will add more if I think of them. What topics does she like? But what was used for the filling of the first Kit Kat? Brigadier Sir Nils Olav is a king penguin. He is Colonel-in-Chief of the Norwegian King's Guard, as well as the mascot. He currently lives in the Edinburgh Zoo in Scotland. So Scotland is currently holding a Norwegian colonel as a prisoner of war? Pineapples are a collection of berries. Bananas are berries too. And they grow on banana plants, not banana trees. Giraffe tongues are black. To protect from sunburn as they are out so much during the day. You've got 253 comments as of this post, OP. Only 112 more to go for a full year's worth of facts. Here's mine. The Romans were some of the first people to wear bikinis. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/history_of_the_bikini close bracket. Once you filter out the ones about sex and death, it's probably a good bit lower. Kangaroos can't walk backwards. Edit, I wanna make it clear that I have no idea who Daniel Tosh is, and when I say walk I mean hop. Kangaroos can't walk at all. Their hind legs can't move independently. Horses are more closely related to rhinos than to deer. Additionally, horses have roughly a 350-degree field of vision around them, with one of their two blind spots being in the front. Horses can't see directly ahead for up to about 4 feet. When a bee is chosen to be the new queen, they are given a special type of honey that completely changes their bodies. Kind of like how Upper Cayman evolves. Super simplified, but it's still pretty cool to think about. Beekeeper here. All eggs get Gelly Royale first, and after a while, I don't know the exact amount of days, the larvae of worker bees get pollen and nectar only. Because of that, their ovaries won't develop properly, which makes them infertile. Only queen bees get Gelly Royale through all stages of their development in the cell, which makes them fertile and significantly bigger. So, if the queen bee dies suddenly or gets too old, the worker bees start feeding the larvae with gelée royale to raise a new queen. Hippopotamus milk is pink. Some fish cough. Don't eat too many carrots or your skin will turn orange. That happened to my own daughter. Some frogs will glow when they eat fireflies. Before 1913, parents could mail their kids to grandmas through the postal service. By the same token, don't drink too much water or you can effectively dilute your internal chemistry to the point you will get sick. Tigers have striped skin. Some badass tiger shaving scientist found this out. It takes a little over 8 minutes for the light from the sun to get to Earth. So if the sun died we wouldn't know for 8 minutes. There are more stars than there are grains of sand on all the beaches in the world. Cows can walk upstairs, but they can't walk down. Can confirm. Fact: a curious 4-year-old can never be satisfied with one fact per day. This is true. Response to fact will be, why response to why will be, how response to how will be why. It's a vicious cycle. Whales are closer to cows than to sharks. Edit, y'all are hilarious, and sh4. I think mom dad will deal with genome later. False, the cows just don't see how close the sharks are until it's too late. Birds poo and pee from the same hole at the same time. And the hole is called a cloaca. A polar bear's skin is black. Wow, gold, thank you so much. And their hair isn't white but transparent and hollow. A platypus lays eggs, and has milk, making it the only mammal that could in theory make its own custard. They also have poison in their thumb. This list of what groups of animals are called, i.e. a group of elephants is a parade, a group of owls is a parliament, a group of wild cats is called a destruction. https://grammar.yourdictionary.com/word-lists/list-of-names-for-groups-of-animals.html. A group of 4-year-olds is a nightmare. Ask her to give you one fact in exchange of one fact. This will encourage her to learn more and try to meet the daily one fact before bed. It rains diamonds on Saturn and Jupiter, other planets. Neptune and Uranus. Billy goats wee on their heads to smell better for the lady goats. Owls cannot be choked. OMG, this means that someone tried to choke them and failed on more than one occasion. Making pennies cost more than their actual value. Humans are bioluminescent and glow in the dark, but the light that we emit is 1,000 times weaker than our human eyes are able to pick up. Source: http://www.livescience.com/7799-strange-humans-glow-visible-light.html. What animals have eyes sensitive enough to see us as glow in the dark? Male seahorses carry the baby in their tummy instead of the mommy. Babies, lots of them. Lobsters were considered disgusting and low-class food, to the point that feeding them to prisoners too often was considered cruel and unusual punishment. Also, they are basically just big sea roaches. True, but this was before they realized they had to cook lobster immediately after its death and eat it. I only knew this because I had discovered your fact before. A woodchuck belongs to the family of ground squirrels. She doesn't care what family it is from. And X200B. She wants to know how much wood it can chuck. Can you answer that? Deleted. Your hand is exactly the same size as your face. Thwack. You have siblings, don't you? Butterflies smell with their feet. Edit. Wow, thanks for my first gold, stranger. Butterflies will also literally drink blood, sweat, and tears. There's a D as fridge but not in refrigerator. The distance from your inner elbow to your wrist is the same as the length of your foot. This one is fun because it sounds insane. The forearm looks longer, but if you put your foot to your arm you see that it's accurate. If you put both hands in front of you and there write a word, your non-dominant hand will write an exact mirror of your dominant hand without you having to think about it. It will work with shapes too if she's too young to write words. I am 24 years old and just spent a solid 5 minutes writing words in the air and giggling to myself. Rabbits usually sleep during the day, but they often sleep with their eyes open so you can't tell. If you look closely, sleeping bunnies don't twitch their noses. There is a planet in our solar system populated entirely by robots. Horses can't vomit. Child, what happens when they get an upset stomach then? Parent, well they die Susie.